A student in the class recently asked how we can paint vertices in Mesh Mixer and then get those painted vertices to show up in Unreal Engine for the color of the sculpture. And I experimented a lot with methods of exporting from Mesh Mixer, methods of importing to Unreal, and I couldn't get it to work. So I'll show you a workaround that will enable you to get the same result. Let's go into ZBrush. When you first open the program, you'll probably see the light box up top here. If you don't see it, you can press the comma key on your keyboard. And what you should select is Dynamesh Sphere right here. We'll double click on that. That will open up a basic workspace here. You can see because there are two dots displaying that symmetry is turned on right now. Let's turn that off by pressing X. And then if I orbit around, you'll see that the object can kind of get slanted off to the side. I think it's much easier to see if it shows straight up and down. So let's come over here to where it says rotate on Y-axis. We'll click on that button. And then by holding the shift key on the keyboard and dragging the right mouse button, we can get it to orient right side up. Now the controls are a little bit different in ZBrush. I'm holding down the right mouse button to orbit. I hold down the control key and then click the right mouse button and drag the mouse forward and backward to zoom. And then to pan, the control is you hold the Alt button and then hold the right mouse button down and drag. And so again, orbit is hold the right mouse button down. Zoom is hold control and hold the right mouse button and drag forward and backward. And then pan is hold Alt and the right mouse button. Okay, so now let's go ahead and import some geometry that we can paint. Let's act as though this soldier is the sculpture that you created in Mesh Mixer that you want to paint up. So now that it is imported by clicking that button up there, we can come over here to the subtool panel and click on the brush. So that turns on Poly Paint. And now what we need to do is come up here to where it says Z add and click on that to turn it off. And what that is doing basically is making it so that our sculpting deformations are no longer going to be used. What we want to do instead is paint with RGB. So that's turned on. RGB is on. So now we can come over to our color picker here and pick any color. I'll just pick red. And let me set the brush size down. I'll press S on the keyboard. Actually, let me not tell you the keyboard shortcuts. I'll just tell you the things you can use up here to just make it a little bit easier. We'll go up there to set the draw size down. And now let's paint across the form. And just so that we're sure that we're doing something noticeable, we'll put some purple on the chest just so that we can make sure that things are actually copying over correctly. We'll put green there. Okay, so anyhow, you can paint this up however you'd like, and once you're happy with the coloration on the model, you can go to Z plugin, and then that button on the top left corner, we're gonna hold down on that button and drag that over here. That'll dock our Z plugins. And what we want to do is export with FBX format. And you can just use these same settings that I have here. Now note with S normals turned on, it's actually going to smooth out the model. So if I press D on the keyboard, and I'll just press yes to accept that, it's going to look like this. Now, depending on how your model is set up, you may or may not want it to appear smooth like that. Let me press Shift D to go back to how it was. So again, here's smooth, here's unsmooth, smooth, unsmooth. So you'll have to make a decision about whether you want smooth normals or not. But I'm going to keep the smooth normals in this case. I'll export, and we'll call this soldier main.fbx. And then let's go to Unreal Engine. and then we'll go to import. We'll select our file, and do you want to overwrite the existing asset? My stuff, soldier main. No, I don't want to do that because I already have an OBJ in with that same name. Let me see if it'll give me the option to. It's okay. I'll just go ahead and accept it just so that we can get this done. Re-import material conflicts resolution. Reset FBX. I don't know how to fix this. Hold on. Let me just. I'm going to go out to the desktop and just change the name of the file. Soldier main 2. Okay, and then we'll go to import soldier main. Now this is important. Under mesh, you may not see this drop down menu. You have to click on this button. And you want to set vertex color import option. Let's set that to ignore. I think that's what we want. Ignore. Okay, import. And let's drag this guy out into the scene. I'll press E to rotate him some. Okay. And now what we need to do is make a new material. So we'll go to, I just right-clicked here, and then we'll select material, and we'll call this vertex color material. And let's double-click to open the material. And then in here, we're going to right-click on the workspace and just type in vertex. Vertex color is what we want. And then we're going to drag a wire from that top pin there, and we'll put that into base color. Okay, and we'll save this. And if this works correctly, we should be able to drag it onto our form and have it set up so that the vertex color actually determines the material color in the world. Now, the reason that this works, I think, with Zbrush and not with Mesh Mixer is that we're exporting an FBX file. And for whatever reason, that plays more nicely with Unreal Engine.